Morning guys, welcome to my new video. Really excited today. As you'll see, got the new upcoming filter from Evolution Aqua, the Tempest. Managed to get hold of one for review and test. I believe I'm the first hobbyist in the world to have his hands on this, so really pleased, really excited. Thank you for that to Tim Waddington at Quality Koi, who's made this possible. I saw these on Tim's channel about a few weeks ago now. And I asked him if he would speak to someone at EA on my behalf and see if he could get hold of me one, and Tim's come up with the goods again. So I picked it up this morning. Going to do a review of it. Going to show you all over it, in and out. We'll look at exactly what it consists of, how it works. I'll talk you through the specs and things a little bit. And then we'll install it on my pond here, which, if this is the first of my videos you've seen, is just under 1,000 gallons, run on an easy pod. We'll get it installed, we'll get it up and running. I'll show you it running, show you a clean. We'll put it through its paces. So first of all, as I say, I picked this up from Tim this morning. When I got there, I asked Tim if there's anything I should and shouldn't say or do with this, and he said absolutely not. Do your worst. So I do have carte blanche to tell it how I find it, so just want to make that clear. And I have no affiliation whatsoever with EA. There's nothing in this for me. I've no bias in any way. This is a borrowed unit. It's a pre-production unit, but it's not far off the final product. After I've tested it and reviewed it, it will be going back, so I'm not getting any freebies or anything out of this. So yeah, Evolution Aqua Tempest, a couple of weeks away from being launched for general sale. As I say, when I saw this on Tim's channel, I was a little unsure at first really as to how this fitted in to the Evolution Aqua kind of family of filters. You know, is it a polisher? Is it a little bead filter? Is it an all-in-one filter for small ponds? You know, is it one down from the pod? Is it? I didn't really get where it went, and given I'm happy with my pod on this pond, I didn't give it a lot more thought. I wasn't exactly blown away, I must admit. Then over the next couple of days, when my mind started thinking, I kind of had a light bulb moment really. I thought about an application where I believe this may be really good. And what I thought was, most of us at some point will have a sick fish. We like a medical type tank, hospital tank, be it in the shed or the garage, or a quarantine tank for when you buy that new fish and you want to quarantine it. And the issue with that, and what makes it difficult and kind of a non-starter really, certainly for me, is the filtration. So you call on the system only when you need it, which is very rare, hopefully, in the case of a medical tank. And so you can't really keep a filter running on it all the time. You'd have to put some fish in there, you'd have to feed, you'd have the expense of running it. So it's very difficult. And I thought maybe because of the simplicity of this filter, it literally has an inlet and an outlet in 1.5 BSP. It doesn't need a fresh water supply, it doesn't need a waste, a drain as such. You can clean it into a bucket. It doesn't need electrical supply. It literally is an inlet and an outlet. It's very simple, and as you'll see, I've already put some demountable couplings either end of mine. So my thinking is, I put this in my system when I need to set the hospital tank running, or I want to quarantine. Literally undo these two, take it out, take it to the shed, screw it into that system, turn on the pump, and I've got a ready mature filter all ready to go. It's literally sat there in my pond system, taking out some mechanical waste, giving me a bit of backup, a bit of a biological buffer. But then when I need it, simply transfer it across to the hospital tank, and it's ready to go. So I think it could be a really useful a really useful filter for that purpose. Now, obviously, that assumes it works and does what it should do, and obviously that's what we're here to find out. That was my kind of what piqued my interest a little more in it, to be honest. So we'll have a look over the filter itself. Get all of it there for scale so you can see. Okay, so that's the filter. I did put a tape measure on this, and from the bottom of this outlet valve to the top of the filter is 110 centimetres, 1.1 metres. The tube itself is 200 millimeters diameter. And basically, as I said, you've got an 1.5 BSP inlet, and I've already fitted a demountable coupling 1.5 BSP outlet. So this will fit on any pumped line. So if you're gravity fed, it'll go on your line after you pump, returning to your pond, or if you pump fed, it'll go somewhere after you pump, before your main filter. In terms of media, inside there's 7 litres of K+Media. So this is the new media from Evolution Aqua. I've heard good things, but I've not actually used it myself, so this will be new for me as well. Down at the bottom, you've got this valve system, and basically air is drawn in here when you clean. To clean it, you open this valve, the wastewater comes out the bottom. 5.5 gallons of water it dumps for each clean. And basically what happens is similar to if you tip a bottle of Coke upside down, you know, you get that kind of glugging effect as the air comes in and displaces the liquid out. And that's what happens in here, and that agitates the media to knock all the debris off, so it can come out to waste. And that is basically it. It isn't too complicated, which I quite like. These caps come off. If you want to have a look, I'll show you inside. There isn't a lot to see, but hopefully you can see inside there. Because this is the top, the media could actually come out of there, but you've got a little grill inside there to keep the K1 in place. The hole in the middle on this one, this is because it's the outlet. What you've got is that section goes through the hole in that grill and into the filter. That cap screws back on, and that's it. Simple as that. So what happens when you start this up? Your water is pumped in at reasonably high velocity because you're in an 1.5 pipe. Opens out into this 200 millimeter diameter pipe, so the velocity of the water slows right down because of the diameter of the pipe. Moves up the column very slowly. The K+Media rises up to the top, and as the water moves up, any solid materials trapped by the media, it then comes out where it reduces back down again to 1.5, and you get the velocity back, and it continues off back to your pond or onto your filter, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. Now, this isn't new technology as such. These filters are used very successfully in the swimming pool industry, I know. So it's proven technology. So the early adopters are not kind of guinea pigs for this technology. It does work. EA have just done the research and the development and adapted this system for pond use with the K+Media, etc. So yeah, all seems pretty good, pretty simple, which I like. Not a lot to go wrong. So far, so good. In terms of the booklet, the information that comes with it, quite good. Quite a lot of information in there. One thing that did catch my eye was this first page. Actually, there's a graph. So Evolution Aqua have had the filter away for testing. IFTS is an institute for testing, a testing institute for filtration. They've put it through an ISO standard test, and the results are there on the graph in the front page. And basically what this report shows is that with a single pass of water through this filter, 100% of particles at 25 microns and above are removed with one single pass. So that's quite impressive. 25 microns is pretty impressive. When you think a bead filter is the kind of de rigueur mechanical filtration, they're usually 60 to 80 microns. So in this test, and I'm reading from the book, so that's all I can do is take their word for it. In this test, 25 micron particles, 100% of those were removed with a single pass through the filter. There's other figures, 15 microns and above, around about 94% of those were removed with a single pass. 10 microns and above, 80% of those particles were removed with a single pass. 5 microns and above, which is getting pretty small, around about 44-45% of those were removed with a single pass, and it goes right down, and about two microns, 20% of those were removed again with a single pass, which is pretty impressive, I must admit. So there's some good information in there, instructions on fitting it, etc. In terms of the specs, I think I've covered most of it. The drain has a hose tail on, which is a 1-inch hose tail, which you can connect up to waste if you wish, or you can clean it straight into a bucket. Maximum flow rate is 7,500 litres an hour, and the optimum flow is 5,000 litres an hour. So I run a pod, as I say, on this pond. I run it at 5,500 litres an hour, so I'm going to plumb this straight into my return line. I'll expect to see a small drop in flow because of the back pressure that this will provide. So I'm confident that without increasing the speed of my variable flow pump, I'll still be at or just above 5,000 litres an hour, which is optimum for this filter. So I'm not going to touch anything at all. As I say, 7 litres of K+Media inside, and the total volume inside is 5.9 gallons, UK gallons, which is 7.1 US gallons and 27 litres. So I believe about 25 litres of water you lose when you do a clean on this filter. Again, there's good instructions on how to install this in your system, on the solvent welding, etc. Comes with a valve, two 1.5-inch slide valves for fitting on the inlet and the outlet, and they are important. The bottom one to isolate the water supply, obviously, and the top one to isolate the air being pulled in, because you want the valve to do its thing. So 2 slide valves are supplied with it. Instructions for fitting in various different applications, and I think that is everything. So I am now going to get on and fit this into my system, and we'll get it fired up. A couple of little things. I've just had a little look, a little play with it, and a little think about how I'm going to fit it. Inlet and outlet are on the same side. I was thinking, in my system, if the inlet was on one side and the outlet was on the other, would make it a lot easier for me. But then I think, well, a lot of people, that's going to be right, so you can't please everyone. The only way really would be if these could be turned round, but then you've got the issue of sealing. So not a biggie, but something to consider. And even less of a problem, Tempest sticker is only on one side, so 50% of people who when they install this, that is going to be at the back. They ain't going to see it. Again, not a biggie, but sticker on either side maybe would fix that. So we'll get it installed. Just very quickly before I start, this is my system. So a very simple setup. 3-inch bottom drain comes in into the pod, fills the pod with gravity, under gravity. Then the outlet to the pod there with a little variable speed pump through a UV, cloverleaf UV, which is utter crap and is going in the bin. And then out the back there, that's my water injection from a trickle in, out the back, and it returns to the pond there over the wall to give me a little current and a little bit of aeration. So a very simple system, and I'm going to be putting the Tempest in this area here. So immediately after the pump, inlet to the Tempest, through the Tempest, and then from the outlet I'll connect back into that line there and off back to the pond. So pretty straightforward installation in my case, although it is quite tight, but should be straightforward. Okay, so that's the unit fitted. You'll see I've not done anything yet about the drain, but basically what I'm going to do, you can see that's the drain point there, 1.5 inches. I'm going to put a hose down, go through the floor here, and I'll get a tray that fits in this space, slide the tray in, the filter will drain into that. I can take it away and empty it. And just on that note, I was just thinking about that. I was wondering about, you know, maybe putting a sieve or a strainer or even a pair of tights or something over that when you clean the filter to take out all the fine particles. Maybe then the water's clean enough to just go straight back in the pond. But again, it's just me thinking it. I don't know, it might not work, but something to think about. So what I've got, as I said, come out of the pump, got a 1.5 inch slide valve, demountable coupling on the inlet, up through the filter, demountable coupling at the top, another slide valve, and then it goes down the back there, joins back into my filter return and goes back over the pond. So I'm going to fire it up and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's turn the pump on. So that's the pump winding up, and as I say, I haven't touched the wattage on this pump, so it's just set where it was when I had it flowing without the filter in. So that's the meter up to the top, as it should. I didn't say either, I should have pointed out, I do have a bit of blanket weed in at the moment, so we'll see how it handles that as well. Got a little trip I've noticed on the bottom there, that's the fitting I haven't tightened up properly. I'll get onto that. But that's all flowing now. Back to the pond. So far so good. Aside from that fitting at the bottom that I need to tighten up, I can't see any leaks or any problems, so all good. That's the water returning over the pond. The level's a little bit low because I've had it drained down, but yeah, so far so good. What I'll do as well, just very quickly, I'll just show you how it cleans. Basically I've just rigged up just temporary a bit of pipe there, but until I get the tray system underneath properly done. But basically I've turned the pump off, closed these two slide valves, inlet and outlet, to isolate the filter, and then it's just a case of undoing this valve at the bottom, and as you can see, water's coming out the hose there into the ground, but you can see quite a good level of agitation of the media. And also forgot to mention, because this media is new, it's obviously still very buoyant, so it's going to need at least a week or so for the filter media to become fully you know, semi-buoyant, and it won't clean properly until that's done. But you can see even now, and you can hear it as well, it is quite well agitated. But as I say, that will be a lot stronger once it's buoyant. So when it's empty, close the valve, open the inlet and outlet, turn on the pump again, and that filled back up, and that was a filter clean. That was done in real time, so I'm not sure how long that took, but I don't know, 30 seconds maybe. I'll time it next time, but pretty straightforward. And we're back online, back up and running. Just take a second to get there. There we go. Yes, so that's all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the update when I talk about the performance, and I'll show you the cleaning better and the performance. I'll draw some conclusions and we'll wrap it up. Please do check out Tim's site as well, Tim Waddington at Aqua TEMPEST Koi. I'm eternally grateful for him getting me this opportunity. Tim will be selling the filters when they become available, and I think you can pre-order them with him now. Please leave a comment, good or bad. I answer all comments. I like to get involved in the discussion. Tell me what you think, and until the next update, please stay safe.